Hi, this is Nancy Newhart. I'm here with the 54th Annual Fall Festival exhibit at the Allegheny Highlands Arts and Crafts Center. It's an open call exhibit, which means anybody can enter who follows the rules of the prospectus, and that we send that to whoever asks for one. It will be up from today, October 19th, through November 4th. This year's show is really large. We have 104 entries by 44 different artists, and they range from very traditional work to very experimental type work. So there's something for everybody, and that's why we have a People's Choice Award that people can vote for, and we count that up at the end of the show. However, today, who we have with us is Ed Bordett, who is a working artist from Fincastle, and he was the judge for the show. Ed?
Hello. I am a painter printmaker.
Okay.
I've been very lucky to have a career making art, which was my dream of what I wanted to do, and the fact that I was capable of doing it, I'm very lucky about that. I've done a lot of printmaking, from monoprints to etchings to silkscreen printing. I've painted in watercolor, I've painted in oil, and I'm at a point in my life with over 50 years of creating art. How do I keep myself going? How do I keep myself amused? How do I create some energy in what I want to keep making in life?
I'm guessing all of those are things that you look for in other people's work as well.
Oh, very much so. You know, and hopefully we all progress. We all, you know, we do our body of work, but hopefully we experiment at the same time with what we're doing. You know, kind of keep it interesting. Challenge ourselves is one of the biggest things. Just not make pretty work, but make work that hopefully will make us think somewhat. So,
Ed, thank you for coming and judging the show. I thought with your broad range of interests and your knowledge of different media, you were the ideal person to judge this one, and I love the fact that you got a really good one. So tell us what your response was.
That's it. That was my response. I kind of walked in and looked and went, oh my goodness.
You did, that's true.
You know, a lot of variation is what I saw in the show. A lot of different mediums. I started picking up on artists doing different things in different bodies of work and medium. So I thought it's great, and I see some new younger people starting to enter the show and show themselves as far as what they're creating and doing. So I think it's interesting. I think obviously there's something for everybody.
There is. The picture we're going to talk about here is called 1947 Buick No. 1 by Donald Early from Greenville, West Virginia. Ed?
Different. Definitely a lot of energy to it. A picture that you can stand all the way across the room and look at, and then come up closer where you're going to see way much more texture and more of what's going on with it. We don't necessarily know what is going on in this scene. My first response was a visual response from a distance across the room, pulling me in. I get up on art. I love the textures. I like that kind of feeling about it. So I found it to be out of the ordinary from the body of work that's here, somewhat challenging for a viewer to look at, and just a great piece. As well as this person has another interesting, or two other interesting pieces.
One other interesting piece, yeah. Nice drawing.
Yeah.
Visitors always want to know who got best in show and why. So this piece of Tim McMahon's called Rockbridge Baz, I'll let you go for it.
Energy. I mean, that's large, bold, confidence, showing our mountains in a different way. So it's something that we all view every day in living here. And yet here's somebody who's going to challenge you somewhat. Movement happening within it. And then there are two other pieces in the show that also show the same boldness, the same use of color. So
let's go look at those.
Yeah.
You said you were interested in wanting to look at all three of his works. So this is a piece called Montalena, also by Tim McMahon. And go for it. Tell us your response.
Once again, you know, a river, a pond, whatever it happens to be, trees thrusting up. And these strokes, all these strokes have a tendency to throw my eye all around when I'm viewing this piece. It's gutsy, you know, it's like, so this is nice. How do I know to just be bold and throw strokes and colors and things? And Tim is being very creative, and he's presenting our landscape to us in a bold manner.
Okay. This piece is also Tim McMahon's. It's called Valley View, and it has the same sort of energy, I think, to it. But here it's a vertical, and so everything moves different.
And I also think these colors are somewhat softer than the other two pieces that we've looked at. So this is Tim's version of gentle.
That's a great description.
But it's, if you look at it, you're really focused up in here, and then it gets busier as it comes down, focusing you till you kind of focus right in this area here. So he is moving you around as a viewer, wanting to control what happens as you look at the piece.
This is called Little Red Riding Hood by Stephanie Burkholder, who lives in Vinton. Tell me why that attracted your attention.
It's interesting because walking into the room, there's a lot of energy in a lot of pieces here. This piece did not capture me till after walking by it a number of times, but it just kept kind of pulling me. Color is one thing, obviously, the way that the red works, but then the handling of the features are just so nice, a very delicate touch as far as painting goes, a very realistic look. But the more I looked at it, the more it kind of pulled me in. And I tend to like things that don't wrap me up completely at first, but have a more subtle way of bringing you into it and forcing you to keep looking at it.
You did come back to this one several times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, another one of your choices was Lee Ann Woodward's The Wheels on the Bus. And she also has three pieces in the show. So talk to me about what drew you to this one.
Well, energy, the work. I mean, this is not an easy thing to paint. What she has painted. There isn't necessarily a focus in it, but the overall feeling of movement, there is depth created within this. It just, in seeing all three of this person's work, I'm like, oh, look at this. This person's kind of locked on to something, has following her direction, and going with it, and it's bold and it's wonderful. But think about how different the three artists are that we're talking about in the work that we've looked at. Each one kind of goes off in a different direction, and that's what art should be.
Yeah, I agree totally. And I love the fact that it's both whimsical and very organized at the same time. I'm not sure I could do that with this. I'm glad you did.